Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Saturday, January 3rd. Ian Cameron with you, Alex B. Smith in just a moment, ready to break down the Saturday NHL card. It is a big one on tap for this Saturday. 13 games, Baker's dozen for Saturday, January 3rd. Excited about it, and we're going to break it all down, and we're going to get right to the first game because it is just about to start. It's our first of many as the ABC Saturday Hockey national TV schedule begins today. There'll be Saturday afternoon national games on ABC the rest of the NHL season moving forward. We got our guy Bob Wischusen working this game. Great broadcaster. Terrific, tremendous, outstanding, actually. It's not strong enough to say how good he is, so it'll be nice to hear his voice in the background while we're doing this show. Pittsburgh and Detroit. We've got Detroit minus 135, home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. I like Detroit. I like the over. I'm going to keep it simple. Revenge game. They lost in overtime to Pittsburgh. They're the better team anyway. I think they bounce back here after losing to the Berg on what was it? Thursday it was. Yes. So I'm on Detroit. We talked about how this has been an over series. The best bet for Thursday's show is that Detroit-Pittsburgh over 6.5. We're going to roll back with it here. Skinner in net for the Penguins, and it should be John Gibson here for the Detroit Red Wings. So Wings and over, my bets here for this one. Alex passed on this particular game. It's a good question, Aaron. How about overs, by the way, in the NHL? 2026, we've had 12 NHL games in the first 2 days of the season, 11-1 over. 11 of the 12 games have gone over the total. They better continue today, Aaron. I like a lot of overs today on the card, so it better continue, or else we're going to be in the poorhouse today. So I would say I'm on about 7 or 8 overs of the 13 games today. I think it even could be 9. I'm on a piece of the over in every afternoon game except Jersey, Utah, and except Buffalo, Columbus. Those are the 2 games I did not bet over. Every other game this afternoon, I got a piece of the over. We have some overs in some of the night games as well here tonight. So, yeah, there better be some goals today. That's all I will say about that. And like I said, pretty crazy to see that 11-1 run to the over to start 2026 in the NHL. 11 of the 12 games have gone over the total. As far as props for this game, you look at this situation here as far as here we go. Let me just get the I didn't have the prop sheet up in front of me, but Crosby scored in back-to-back games. He's also on a crazy assist streak that Aaron mentioned in the chat against Detroit in particular. So I'd maybe look in that direction. Anything Crosby, obviously, anytime Pittsburgh plays, it's never a bad idea. That is for sure. You look at the last, 10 games or so. Mantha's been good. I might come back to Mantha here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He scored in 3 of the last 5 games. He's playing his former team in Detroit, the Detroit Red Wings, so I don't mind that kind of look here as well. So keep an eye on that. Andrew Kopp, suddenly scored in a couple of the last 5 games, so definitely interested to look toward him maybe to find the back of the net here in this game as well. And again, this game is just about to start. It is your noon Eastern ABC game, so if you're getting your bets in on that game, get it done right now. It'll be your last chance to do so. All right, the Buffalo Sabres, they're the story in the NHL right now. They're the talk of the NHL right now as they look for their franchise record, 11th straight victory here this afternoon in Columbus against the Columbus Blue Jackets. We've got even money here, minus 110 on both sides. The total here sitting at 6.5 pretty much across the board. Obviously, for me, it's Buffalo or pass. Do I want to lay, around an even money price with Buffalo with pressure on them like this? This is big pressure all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden you are looking at trying to get this franchise record, 11th straight win. And like I said, it is, I think, a situation here as well for the Buffalo Sabres that they're facing a Columbus team that, at home has been pretty solid this year. You see the way Columbus has played lately. Better hockey, 3 wins in their last 4 games. So this is not going to be easy to notch this big-time franchise record 11th straight win here this afternoon in Columbus. I have not moved on this game yet. I mentioned that I'm on a lot of overs today. This is not one of them. This is not one of them because why is Buffalo? Why have they been able to win 10 in a row? Well, they started to play some defense. That's why. They're playing some really good defensive hockey right now. They're getting saves from the UPL and Alex Lyon combination. They've both been very, very solid for this Sabres team during this 10-game win streak. There's no question. We'll see who's in net here for this one. You would expect UPL to get the nod because Lyon's still on the injured list and not expected to return here for the Sabres this afternoon. Now, we talked a couple games ago about the strong home road splits of UPL, where he's got George Vezina numbers at home, and he hasn't been nearly as good on the road. Well, that's starting to change a little bit because you look at 2 of the last 3 starts for UPL, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, 1 goal allowed to Jersey, one goal allowed. Well, that was a home game against Boston, but he only allowed 1 goal against Jersey. They won that game. That was on the road. And how about the performance against Dallas? That 4-1 win on New Year's Eve. UPL was in net for that game on the road. He played very well for the Buffalo Sabres. So overall, the numbers for the home road split for UPL are very real. But in the short term, as in his last 2 road starts against the Devils and the Stars, UPL's played a lot better. So is this a sign that maybe he's getting a little bit more comfortable? You know why he's also playing better? A lot of those road starts early in the season, Buffalo wasn't defending with the tenacity that we're seeing right now. And obviously, when you're playing a better team defense, it helps out your goaltender immensely. So I think the better improvement on the road in these last 2 games for UPL goes hand in hand with Buffalo's team effort defensively being better here of late. So this is one where like I said, I'm on a lot of overs. This ain't one of them. In fact, if it's Jack Greaves for Columbus, and there's no reason not to think it's going to be him, and he's obviously been pretty solid, I could see this staying under the total, quite honestly. But I'm waiting on the goalie confirmations. Lean Buffalo. I think I'm going to sit back and maybe get involved live, if anything, in this game. But obviously very fascinated to see if the Sabres can do this, if they can pull this off and get the franchise record 11th straight victory. Alex B. Smith is with us now. Alex, see a great card today. What do you think here, Buffalo? And by the way, Alex passed on Pittsburgh, Detroit. He put it in the chat.
I meant in the chat.
That. Yeah, nothing for him on that game. What do you think here, Buffalo, Columbus?
Yeah, this is one where I grabbed the draw plus 310. I'm also thinking that the Sabres do get this victory, but I think it's going to be a tough game. And so I have a little piece of that. Sabres to win in overtime shootout plus 550. There's a couple spots where I like that along with the draw today. And I am playing Vancouver to end the streak. Plus 400 is available still at FanDuel. If you look at the NHL listings, you'll see just Sabres, and it'll tell you, which game you feel that the streak will end. Of course, you lay $1.10 with Columbus today, or you can get plus 400 for Vancouver. So I'm going with Sabres to win in overtime in the shootout, along with the draw, and I think Vancouver snaps what will be the franchise streak at 11 coming up in their next game.
There's so many windows open. Sorry about that, guys. Just a million windows open here. You're trying to get your next statement ready to go, and based on what you're seeing here on the screen with stats and numbers and box scores and matchup, diagrams, and there's just so much open in front of me. It's crazy. Your mind would be blown seeing how much stuff's right in front of me when I host this show every single day. But as far as props go for this game, a lot of it's been, what sucks for or what's good, I should say, for Columbus here is it looks like for the Jackets, Zach Werenski's back today. Huge news. Back from a lower body injury, 4-game absence for him. That is significant, obviously. He's a big part of this Columbus Blue Jackets team. And now that he's playing and back in the lineup, I want to point this out, guys. 3 straight games he has found the back of the net for the Columbus Blue Jackets, Zach Werenski. And we know he's got that good release, that good shot. He's not scared to jump into the play. He's not scared to get involved, obviously. He's a great skater, a great offensive instincts as a defenseman. He scored in 3 straight games for the Jackets entering this one. And you can get him at plus 400 at Betway, some other spots here to find the back of the net for the Jackets. So I think Zach Werenski, like I said, and maybe it's another situation, too, where it's a bump after hearing he's playing for Team USA. Not that there was any doubt he wouldn't be playing for them, but, a bump for hearing. And that's another thing, too, with UPL. does he get the goalie bump because he's representing Team Finland at the Olympics? He's already playing better in recent starts. Now he's going to be flying high, finding out, hey, I'm playing for Finland here at the Olympics as well. So a couple players that could be feeling the bump. Mason Marchment's been great since joining the Jackets. He's not quite bargain bin worthy, but plus 290, in that range right now to find the back of the net. So maybe a consideration here with him in this game as well. And then I think there was one more as far as just a lineup adjustment that I thought I saw for the Buffalo Sabres here. No, it's Krebs. Yeah, it was like that the last game too. Krebs playing with Tage Thompson and Josh Doan. It's kind of been that way now for a couple games, but there is value with Peyton Krebs up there playing on that top line right now for the Buffalo Sabres. So maybe a prop look for him as well. All right, this game also is at 3:00 p.m. Eastern time. We've got the Utah Mammoth and New Jersey Devils. New Jersey minus 120 home favorites. This one sitting at 5.5, shaded to the over. This is a draw for me. Stone cold draw. It's East versus West. Utah off a demolition yesterday, dismantling the New York Islanders. 7-2 back-to-back situation for them in this game. We'll see how it unfolds here in Jersey. It looks like now it's going to be interesting what they do with the goaltending situation because as we've talked about, actually Vejmelka. Yeah, never mind. Vejmelka's off the IR, which means credit to Jonathan Davis and his sources down in Utah. They were right that Vejmelka was eligible to come off the IR because he is off the IR. So it's probably going to be Vejmelka then in that case in net for Utah because Vanacek got the start yesterday. But like I said, just the draw here for me. It is Vanacek will start today, says Jonathan. Okay, Vanacek will start. So they're just being cautious, I guess, with Vejmelka, even though he's come off the IR. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the draw here in this game. Total, I'm off it. Certainly flew over the total yesterday with Utah against the New York Islanders. We'll see about today's game. Like I said, I did not touch this over initially. Now it's going to be interesting to see who's in net here for the New Jersey Devils. Markstrom was in net for the 4-0 shutout loss against Toronto. It was Jake Allen for the comeback 3-2 win against Columbus. So interesting to see who will be in net here for the Devils this afternoon. But as of now, the draw is the only pregame move for me here. Alex, what do you think? Utah, New Jersey.
Yeah, nothing for me here in this spot. It makes sense that Vanacek getting a game against his old team. I mean, think of that what you will. He's played with a few teams, so I don't know if there's a massive bump with him in that spot. I think there's some goalies where that's legitimate, and there's some goalies where it's not. And Vanacek's not really a guy where I think against New Jersey or Washington, he's going to really stand up and have a much better game. So this is a pass for me.
All right, nothing wrong with that. Okay, we move to Philadelphia and Edmonton. We've got Edmonton minus 170 home favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. We've got the Philadelphia Flyers on this road trip, which continues on through the western part of the continent. It started in Chicago. Then they went out west to Seattle. They lost 4-1. They beat Vancouver 6-3. And then they lost 5-1 in Calgary. It was a brutal spot for the Flyers. Plus, they had Ersson in net, and there's been a noticeable decline as far as his performance of late for the Philadelphia Flyers. I would expect Dan Vladar to be back in net here this afternoon. It is already confirmed Dan Vladar for Philly. I'm seeing it leaning toward Calvin Pickard here for the Edmonton Oilers. Wouldn't surprise me because Ingram was in net for the game against Boston, which the Oilers lost by a score of 6-2. So I do expect Calvin Pickard to be the goaltender here for the Edmonton Oilers in this game. I'm definitely taking a piece of Philly at this price, plus 140, simply because Philly off a loss has been good. Now, Edmonton lately off a loss has been just as good. In fact, I'm looking at it. It's kind of been a win-loss type of pattern lately here for the Edmonton Oilers, and they've been very good off a loss lately. So both of these teams have been good in this spot. But I just like this price enough with Philadelphia, and I think the better goaltender, the little bit more consistent, trustworthy goaltender at the moment in Vladar, and a nice price here at plus 140 that I think the Flyers have a chance maybe to get a road win here in Edmonton. Still not fully trustworthy of the Oilers in this spot. I actually ended up, and I was just on the Flyers initially, but then I did my research, and a lot of, how really I look at performance patterns off a loss. That's how I always see what the records are with these teams off a loss. So I see, who's good off a loss, who's good, and that's a big component of it for me. When a team off a loss, I want to know how they've been performing in that situation. I also look at it from a totals perspective. Now, the last time I mentioned this thing with Edmonton, it didn't come through. The game stayed under. I think it was one of those games against Calgary. Let me see. Yeah, it was the 3-2 game against no, it was the what game was it? It was a 3-2 loss to Calgary, and then they won 3-1 against Winnipeg, but the game stayed under the total. Even after that, Edmonton still, to this point in the season, off a loss where they've scored 2 goals or less, they're 9-2 to the over. 9-2 to the over in a loss off 2 goals or less. And then I looked at it from a Philly perspective. You know, the Philadelphia Flyers off a loss when scoring 1 goal or less, and they're coming off the 5-1 loss to Calgary. Philly off a loss this season when scoring 1 goal or less in that loss, either shutout or only scoring 1. Philly's games the next time out have gone 7-1 to the over. So how about that? We got 9-2 for Edmonton to the over in games off a loss where they've scored 2 or less. We've got Philadelphia 7-1 to the over this season off a loss where they've scored 1 goal or less. So you put the two together, I'm on the over here. And I got 6 minus 120, 6.5. I still don't mind it. I am concerned because, you got Vladar's capable, but he is playing an Edmonton team that's, very, very good at home in particular at the offensive end. So, and Philly's starting to score goals. Don't look now, but this Flyers team, they've been able to score goals a lot better of late. So that's what convinced me to get involved with the over, looking at those two stats and these two performance patterns of both teams off a loss where they've been held down offensively. Alex, what do you think here? Flyers, Oilers.
I grabbed the over this morning. I got 6.5 at even money. I also have first period over 1.5 minus 130, so over by factor in this spot. And I might take a dabble with Flyers tied to the over 4.5. I'm seeing plus 158 if you combine that over at FanDuel. Like you said, backing the better goalie as a dog here with Vladar, and seeing the track record of the Flyers, how they win off of a loss. I think that's a little bit stronger than Edmonton, even though Edmonton with a 7-0 record. I trusted Vladar and the Flyers a bit more here. So over by factor, and then tie the over with Flyers money line, bump that up a little bit.
Yeah, as far as props here, we're not jumping off yet. He finally didn't score the last game, but we're not jumping off the train of Grundstrom just yet for the Philadelphia Flyers. We're going to go at least for another shot with it here. Still plus 650, a great price for Carl Grundstrom for the Philadelphia Flyers going into this game. Zach Hyman, Travis Konechny, and Jack Roslovic, who just returned from injury for the Oilers. All three of these players on 2-game goal-scoring streaks. So if you want to ride the streak, I don't mind that whatsoever going into this game here this afternoon. What else? Maybe I think on the Edmonton side. Yeah, Roslovic's the one. Yeah, 2 straight games with a goal. So as far as props on the Edmonton Oilers side of the equation, he would be the top value goal prop, in my opinion, here for the Edmonton Oilers this afternoon. All right, another matinee game next up. Montreal, St. Louis. Montreal minus 140. Road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. How about Montreal, 7-5 in Carolina? Now, I know Carolina's been a mess defensively of late, but still for the Montreal Canadiens to roll in there and score a touchdown, against the Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh, you got to tip your cap and say, damn impressive. Hell of a job by this Montreal Canadiens team. We'll see if they can keep the offense rolling here this afternoon against the St. Louis Blues. This is back-to-back for St. Louis. They're coming off the game yesterday against the Vegas Golden Knights, a very entertaining afternoon game that it was between the two teams yesterday afternoon. Like I said, we'll see how this game plays out here, but St. Louis off the 4-3 win against Vegas, and the struggles continue for Vegas, so give St. Louis credit for pulling through a victory there in that one. You look at Montreal. They're on another overrun again. 4 of the last 5 have gone over for this Montreal team. They've been scoring goals during this run. 3+ goals for Montreal now in 7 straight games. 9 of the last 10, they've scored at least 3 goals, this Montreal team. So they have certainly been finding the back of the net. Now, here's the thing to keep in mind. This is back-to-back for St. Louis. Now, I'm seeing Jakub Dobiš is projected for Montreal. Not confirmed yet, but it is projected that he may get the start. St. Louis, this is supposed to be a Jordan Binnington spot for St. Louis because Joel Hofer got the start yesterday against Vegas. This is supposed to be Binnington's start. Now, has his struggles gotten so bad to the point where he's going to get buried here today and they go back to Joel Hofer again, even though it's a back-to-back, that is something to watch for. This is supposed to be Binnington's start, but with just how, quite honestly, dreadful he's looked of late, we know how bad the Colorado game was for him earlier this week. Does Jim Montgomery go back to Hofer, who's been the goalie in better form, even if it is a back-to-back situation here this afternoon? But I'm on the over here, over 6 anyway. I'll take my chances that Binnington's in. Even if he isn't in, I think we could see this game go over the total. And by the way, this is a series history over as well with Montreal and St. Louis. 1, 2, I'm counting it up right now. Holy shit. 7 straight overs. 7-0 to the over in the last 7 meetings between the Canadiens and the Blues. So a little series history. 2 offenses that are heating up, especially Montreal's. Goaltending that's a little shaky. Dobish has been erratic. And we know if it's Binnington, he's capable of giving up more than a few. So I'm still liking over 6 here, Canadiens and Blues. Alex, what do you think here, Montreal, St. Louis?
Yeah, I have the over by effect in this, and I was just checking prices to see if I wanted to add the trifecta. Plus 152, that's not bad. But I like the over. First period over 1.5. You can still get minus 120 or 125. Bet that pregame I got minus 105 with the over 6, but you can still get $1.15 up to $1. Say $1.25 would be my cutoff point there too. But like I said, really liking the overs, and like I said, St. Louis first period overs. That was a nice hit yesterday against Vegas. That's something that could continue to roll. I could see with the spot, regardless of who's in net for Montreal. So another over by Fecta. Like I said, trifecta is a decent price if you add in that plus 152 with both teams to score in the first.
I'm on the draw as well. Forgot to mention that. 3 out of the last 5 Montreal games have gone past regulation. East versus West scenario as well here in play. So I think we got a chance at least for some overtime here. Montreal has been playing close. The Carolina game was this close to going overtime the other night. So I think we do have some draw potential here with the Habs and the Blues this afternoon. As far as props for this game, Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, back-to-back games with a goal for them. Slavkovsky's been heating up. Kapanen scored last game. He's been one of our favorites. I'm going to go down the board a little bit. I'm going to take some defensemen to score here going into this particular matchup. Lane Hudson scored last game for the Montreal Canadiens. That's going to be interesting to see. And he got left off Team USA. This could be one of those snub bets here that Lane Hudson says, you know what, screw you guys. Screw you, Billy Guerin. I'll show you what you're going to be missing as far as mobility and ability on the back end to command the game offensively. So Lane Hudson and Justin Falk, man, I don't know what's gotten into this guy, but Justin Falk, veteran defenseman for the Blues, he recently had a games milestone, and suddenly this guy's turned into Bobby Orr at times on the blue line. He scored in half of their last 10 games, the St. Louis Blues, Justin Falk, and you can get him in that plus 600 range from the back end. So, yeah, Justin Falk has been on a little bit of a heater lately. Yeah, I don't mind Dalibor Dvorsky. He's been very noticeable lately for St. Louis as well. He could be a nice little goal prop target here as well. All right, the last of the afternoon matchups here. We've got Tampa Bay, San Jose. Tampa Bay minus 220, road favorites, 6 the total, 6.5 in some spots, but make sure you shop around. Another over here. What you can't not expect me to be on this over. How many times have we talked about the San Jose Sharks and the overs lately with them? 7-0-1 to the over in their last 8 games. I mean, that's San Jose right now. They're scoring goals in bunches. They're giving them up though at times. Askarov hasn't been, a brick wall lately. He's been letting in a few. We know we don't trust Nedeljkovic, game in, game out. But they're scoring goals in bunches, San Jose. And Tampa Bay, all of a sudden, they've heated up. They're scoring goals all of a sudden. Just ask Los Angeles with that absolutely brutal collapse against Tampa Bay a couple of days ago. But all of a sudden, here's the Lightning. 5-4, 5-4, 4-6. Goals scored during this current 6-game win streak that they're on. They're lighting it up offensively, Tampa Bay. And don't forget the fact that how many times have I hammered this? See, that's the problem with doing this show 7 days a week and never taking a break. We say the same shit over and over again with certain teams. Like, how many times have we talked about the 4 defensemen out for Tampa Bay? Hedman, I'll repeat the 4. It's drilled into my brain. Hedman, Lilleberg. I don't even have to look it up anymore. Hedman, Lilleberg, Chernak. They're all out still on this blue line for the Tampa Bay Lightning. right now. Hedman, Lilleberg. Actually, hold on a sec. Chernak might be back. I'm just hold the phone. They might get one of those guys back. Looks like Chernak might be back, and that is big. That's a physical guy. It's a shot blocker. That's definitely someone that'll help. But there's still no Lilleberg. There's still no McDonough. There's still no Hedman right now on the blue line. So still missing 3 regular starting defensemen here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And what does that mean? Well, it opens the door for the opponent, to be able to find the back of the net a little bit more often. He came back against he did, Jonathan. Yes. Okay, very good. You're right, he did. And now that I think of it. So this is a second game back. So they did get him back last game. That does help. Still, though, missing 3 starting defensemen is a big deal. And it's not easy to overcome that. And like I said, while Tampa Bay's been scoring of late, they've actually allowed 10 goals in their last 3 games combined. So like I said, they haven't been shutting the door either. So I just think, and especially now that this total is actually at 6 in some spots, early in the day, there was no 6s available. So there's actually been a little pressure on the under here, but I disagree with it. I think over 6, minus 115. That's the way I'm going to go here with Lightning and the Sharks. As far as the side goes, I missed, like I keep saying this, when I see San Jose in these home underdog prices, I did not fire with it in the game against Minnesota, where they beat the Wild 4-3. But they continue to be, pretty good at home, always live in these home underdog prices. I just don't know if I want to go against Tampa in that 6-game win streak right now and the way they're scoring. I'm going to wait for the goalies to be confirmed before moving on a side, because I am kind of interested in San Jose, or at the very least San Jose team total over here in this game. But going to wait to see who the goaltending matchup is here, because that team total for San Jose is a very generous over 2.5 plus 102 minus 105. Very, very cheap price with that for a San Jose team that has scored 4, 5, and 6, in their last 3 games since the Christmas break. So I'm interested in it, but I'm waiting to see who the goalie is for Tampa Bay. But I will be on regardless the full game over here at 6. Alex, what do you think here, Lightning Sharks?
I got a little creative with this. I did bet regular over 6, minus 118 is still available. I see $1.20 available at FanDuel. But I also went San Jose to get a goal in the first period tied with over 5.5. You can get that plus 125 at FanDuel. Like I said, I lean with San Jose to show some momentum early, at least get on the board. But I don't know if I'm trusting them to go in the entire game. And we've seen the Lightning, being a higher favorite, sometimes give up that first goal. Sometimes they'll just give up a goal early. So San Jose to score in the first period, anytime goal in the first period, combined with the alternate over 5.5 and then over 6, like I said, within minus 120.
Yeah, Colin Graff, Igor Chernyshov. I'm going back to the old San Jose favorites for goal props in this game. No question about it. Like I said, it was just a matter of time for Chernyshov in particular. He's got great abilities, good hands as well around the net, and a pretty underrated release. And as long as he keeps playing with Celebrini and Eklund, and Warsofsky's had him positioned there for quite some time, now we're starting to see the dividends pay off here for Igor Chernyshov for the San Jose Sharks. So I'm going to roll with him at it's 3 straight games with a goal now for him as well for Chernyshov. So that's something you got to bet, at least for me. You got to bet it. Celebrini on a 4-game goal streak. Kucherov for the Lightning on a 4-game goal streak as well. Colin Graff, is cooling off just slightly, but still I don't mind a shot there either. But Tampa Bay, here's one I'll throw out there for Tampa Bay. He's playing with Point and Kucherov. Scored in the last game up in that group. Gage Gonzalez here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now that he's up there on the top line, and plus 480 at Pinnacle for him to score a goal. If he's up on that top line, it's worth a look. Once again for Mr. Gonzalez. You got to be careful with that, because it's like you want to say Gage Gonzalez, because but you got to remember it's a G at the start of his last name, so it's Gage Gonzalez. I got in trouble early when I said Gage Gonzalez. No, it's Gage Gonzalez. There we go. You got to be careful with that. We could try to get the names right here on this show. It's not easy. I'll tell you what, I admire anybody trying to pronounce the names in this sport above anybody else. If you think you got it tough in baseball, football, and basketball, pronouncing someone's damn name, I don't want to hear it. I got no time for it. None. Zero. You don't know anything compared to hockey and how tough it can be to pronounce some of these names. But yeah, definitely, like I said, Gage Gonzalez on that top line. Like I said, if he plays there again today, I think he's worth a look. All right, let's go to the night action. Evening games the rest of the way, Nashville and Calgary. We've got Calgary minus 120 home favorites, 5.5 the total here in this game. I think I'm going to be on Calgary here. I like what I'm seeing from the Flames, and I'm also seeing Nashville. I know they've had some. They had the couple games ago. They had a pretty commanding win, but we saw them kind of fall back down. Last game against Seattle, losing 4-1 in a back-to-back. It was Vegas, and beating Vegas is no great feat anymore because Vegas just is a mess right now. They can't buy a win. They're banged up beyond belief right now at this point in time as well. So, like I said, I think it's a situation here where this is a Nashville team that's I think going to start kind of declining a little bit. Calgary's playing good. This is a great. Calgary's 1 point out of a wild card. They're all of a sudden they're right back in the playoff mix. We kind of left them for dead a few weeks ago, saying, "Oh, here they come. They're going to be sellers. Rasmus Anderson's going to be moved at the deadline." And all of a sudden, here they are. They've ripped off 5 wins in their last 6 games, 3 straight wins on this homestand. They have a pretty good home record. This is a home road split team as well. Calgary's just 6-15 on the road. They're 12-5-2, 12-7 overall at home. So, they've definitely played some good hockey here at the Saddle Dome. And they also lost in Nashville at 5-1 last month. So, a little redemption spot maybe here for the Flames. At the moment, we've got Saros and Wolf projected. Neither one confirmed as of yet. Marchessault still day-to-day for the Predators. But, I'm liking Calgary here, minus 120. I like the way they're playing. I think it's a reasonable enough price. And there we go to bolster the argument from Jonathan there. I kind of I'm not surprised to see that. I kind of figured Calgary was kind of like Columbus of the West, good home favorite. They've been good as a home favorite, and Calgary is indeed 6-1 as a home favorite. Only 5-4 as a home underdog. But when they're at home and they're expected to win, they've been very good in that situation. So, I'll take the Flames here. Ride the sea of red here, minus 120. What do you think here, Alex? Predators, Flames.
Yeah, it's another one where I have the draw. I grabbed plus 312 is the best price available over at Bet Online, and then the FanDuel special Flames to win in overtime or shootout plus 550. Like I said, these are 2 teams that we kind of wrote off as dead. Now Nashville's still struggling, and I don't see them, making a splash into the race. But like I said, Calgary now being 1 point out, that's a team that is interesting. They're talking about a month ago, maybe making some moves, moving Rasmus Anderson, moving some veterans to some contending teams. But now that they're in it, they have to kind of wonder, do we stay pat? Do we add something ourselves? So questions that they could be asked if they continue to win. But I think this will be a close one here. But I have the Flames to get the job done past regulation. So give me the draw and Flames to win an OT or shootout.
That's true about Ryan Lomberg, the Lamborghini from Jonathan. He has goals in back-to-back Saturday night games at 12 to. He loves Hockey Night in Canada. He likes, what I think he likes Scott Oak too. He likes those interviews after the game, because every time he scored these goals, he's doing the post-game interview, and it's always Scott Oak on the late game because he's doing the after hours. I think Lomberg was a guest on one of them too. But there's something about Saturday night hockey that he enjoys. He enjoys playing on Saturday nights. So, why not? 12-1, put a couple of bucks on that. In a game that there's not really anything from a prop standpoint that really truly stands out. Oh, here's one. Zary for Calgary. Streaky player, but Connor Zary for Calgary has scored in back-to-back games, and you're getting up over plus 600 for him to find the back of the net tonight. So I do like the value there. Connor Zary for the Calgary Flames. All right, Toronto Maple Leafs, New York Islanders. We've got Toronto, actually pretty much even money here, minus 110. The total 5.5, 6 pretty much across the board. This is another draw for me. I know the history of Leafs Islanders, especially in this building. We've had our share of draws. We've had our share of games go past regulation between these 2 teams. Very interesting matchup as far as the goaltenders. I think Joseph Woll is going to start for Toronto. And it's already been confirmed that on the back-to-back, even though he started yesterday, David Riddick is going to start once again for the New York Islanders. Now, this could go one of 2 ways. We talked about, I don't trust Riddick anymore. He's played way too many games in a row, and you're starting to see his play falter a little bit, including yesterday. But when a goalie's pulled like that, you also expect them to step up and play better the next game. Will it happen? I don't know. What I do know is Toronto has found their offense. And say what you will about people saying, well, firing Mark Savard, was that really going to, one of the assistants, was that really going to fix things? Well, look at this power play. And Savard was in charge of the power play. The power play for this Toronto team since the change, look at what it's doing. They've scored a power play goal in every game since the dismissal of Mark Savard, who ran the power play for the Leafs. They've scored a power play goal in 4 straight games. Against Detroit, Ottawa, Detroit, New Jersey, Winnipeg. They scored a power play goal in all 4. So clearly it's worked. And Steve Sullivan is now one of the assistants. They brought him up, and now it's a collaborative effort with him and Derek Lalonde on the power play, working on that. And all of a sudden the Leafs are definitely finding some success offensively right now. I don't fully trust Dave Riddick here, so I'm going to go with a small Leafs money line. Team total over split here on Toronto. I don't trust it. I don't trust Dave Riddick right now. I think when you start a meandering, let's be honest, he's played pretty well since Sorokin's been out, but let's be honest, he's still a meandering goaltender. He is. And now he's playing way too many games. He's buckling under the workload. Teams are starting to figure him out more, and we're starting to see him struggle a little bit. So I like the Leaf team total over and money line split here, and I will be on the draw here as well. Alex, what do you think? Leafs, Islanders.
This will be another one where I'll grab the draw. Plus 310 is the best price I'm seeing around, and I'll take Leafs to win in overtime and shootout. Like I said, definitely can't rely on Riddick at this point. I got burned backing the Isles, and this is the Isles team that I hadn't really been touching for a while when they had been winning, and all of a sudden jump on him, and he looked like crap. Like I said, he's mid at best. And playing this many games, and we've seen Waugh play him in back-to-back spots before too, during this stretch with Sorokin out. So more than likely we'll have Leafs money line regular as well, minus $1.10, but I will be adding draw and taking Leafs to win it in an OT or a shootout as well.
Good stuff. I agree with Aaron, with Bobby McMahon, as far as him being worth a look here tonight, as far as a goal prop on the Leafs side of the equation. Nick Robertson's been all over the ice too. I continue to think he's worth backing as far as scoring a goal is concerned with the effort he's given of late. But yeah, McMahon and Robertson are definitely up there as 2 of my favorite goal props. And McMahon's playing with Matthews and Domi right now for the Leafs as well. And then for the Islanders, we've talked about Heineman with Barzal and Lee all season long. Never a bad option. But I'll throw another one out there. Callum Ritchie for the New York Islanders. He's suddenly, in back-to-back games, scored a goal for the Islanders. And you can get him over plus 400. To find the back of the net for the Islanders. So Ritchie for the Islanders, I will look at as a goal prop here as well. And yes, Tavares, you're right, for the millionth. Now, it's not, the novelty's off, right? John Tavares has been back playing the Islanders in Long Island forever. Well, it's Belmont, New York now, but nevertheless, and he's gone back there enough times where it's no big deal anymore. And even finally, thank you, Islander fans, finally, because I've noticed it the last couple times the Leafs have been going there. The boos and just the stuff, the boos and the jeering toward Tavares, it's tapered off, which is nice to see. There's still a few whenever he touches the puck, but yeah, it's nice to see that. Like, it's time to move on. I was
But why does that have to stop?
As it's time
they felt slighted by him, then why does that have to stop?
I get it, but
for the rest of his career,
he's a Toronto guy going back to a team he loved growing up. I mean, what are you going to do?
Okay, but I'm just saying. But I mean, they still have a right to boo about it.
Yeah. I think initially, yes, I loved it at first, but now it's just like, come on, guys. Jeez. Time heals all wounds. Haven't you heard that?
Nah, I still boo Chris Chelios every time I see him. So.
That's a little bit different, but nevertheless,
a little bit.
Like I said, I've noticed it. They're not as outspoken, is what I would say when it comes to John Tavares when he returns to town. All right, Winnipeg, Ottawa. We've got Ottawa minus 120, home favorites, 5.5 the total. I'm on Ottawa here. I mean, it's really as simple as the Jets are in a free fall mode. I don't mind fading them. They can't right now. This shows you how bad it's going for the Jets. They can't score goals to save their lives, and they were losing a bunch. Now, what is it now? 10 in a row they've lost. The Winnipeg Jets, like, it's been terrible. They finally get the offense going. They finally explode on the scoreboard Thursday night in Toronto, and then they blow multiple goal lead multiple times, and they lose 6-5. It's 8 straight losses for Winnipeg. 1-9 in their last 10. So it's been, Yeah, absolutely awful, atrocious. That dressing room after that loss to Toronto. I mean, Mark Scheifele, geez, that's as depressing. That's as just it looked like there was a funeral going on in the Winnipeg dressing room after that loss to Toronto. It was a brutal loss, soul crushing. I think Dan Robertson, the great Dan Robertson, who calls the Jets games on TSN, he used that phrase after that game ended. That 6-5 loss to Toronto, soul crushing. That's what it was. It's hard to pick yourself off when you've been losing and losing, and you finally thought that you were going to get a win, and you gave an effort good enough to win. To lose and have to pick yourself up again, that's not easy. And somehow the Winnipeg Jets are going to have to do that. Is that the stat? Yeah, that's right. Jonathan mentioned that stat too. 0-9 is a road underdog for Winnipeg. Now Ottawa had been slumping as well, but what I like about the bet on angle here with Ottawa is they had their little losing streak, and then they found a way to get to the light at the end of the tunnel, and they fell down 2-0 against Washington early at home New Year's Day in that afternoon game, and they battled back. They found a way. They beat the Capitals 4-3, and now it's a win where they enter this game with a little pep in their step, a little mojo, a little confidence, whereas Winnipeg's coming in here thinking, oh boy, when are we ever going to win another hockey game? And so confidence levels are at a bit of a different, in a totally different spot right now. So at this price, I will take a shot here with Ottawa in this one. This is another one where the draw I think I will get involved with the draw. They did go to overtime earlier this year, the game in Winnipeg. Back in December, 3-2 Ottawa win in overtime. It was one of the prime Monday night hockey games. It was a pretty good overtime, if I remember, and Ottawa got the win. So I'll do Sens and draw here in this one. Alex, what do you think? Winnipeg, Ottawa.
I just got to quickly say, I mentioned in the chat, but I am on first period over live in Detroit, Pittsburgh. That's still 1-0 Penguins. This game with Winnipeg and Ottawa, like I said, Jets are an absolute mess. I'm completely here for it, but this is one I'm going to pass. Like I said, I'm leaning toward Ottawa. Like I said, if I watch it live, maybe jump in live, but this is one I'm passing pregame. Like I said, can't back Winnipeg, but I've had some trouble backing Ottawa of late too.
Nothing wrong with that. All right, good stuff indeed. Like I said, we'll have to wait and see how this goes. 5.5. This wasn't a game that made my card of overs today in the NHL, but I do lean that way. Because the Jets finally did score. Now, I worry that after scoring 5 and blowing leads, Scott Arniel cracks the whip, and they played tight as a drum tonight defensively. That's the concern I have with this over, but I lean to the over for sure. Ottawa certainly has been kind of trending that way. 4 of their last 6 games have gone over the total. And remember, you're still missing Linus Ullmark for Ottawa. It will be Levi Merolainen for the foreseeable future, although I thought he played okay against Washington. Certainly when that game was on the line, he made some big saves. And Connor Hellebuck will be back in net tonight here for the Winnipeg Jets. Prop-wise for this game, not a whole lot as far as the props are concerned, but I'm going to go back to Zetterlund. Zetterlund's on the top line still. He's finally scored on that top line last game. He got the game winner. It was the game-winning goal as well to beat Washington, playing with Stützle, and Ridley Gregg's up there too, so he probably has a little bit of value as well as far as a goal prop for the Senators. Gregg and Zetterlund is likely to start the game on that top line. All right, Chicago and Washington. We've got Washington minus 280, actually minus 300 in some spots here as home favorites. The total here sitting at 6, shaded to the under. Yes, indeed, there are a couple books that do have it at 300, and that's a fascinating price to mention because we know the angle of the big dog against the minus 300 favorite scoring in the first period. That might be something I'd look at here with Chicago. That's we'll see about that. This could be one of these games too where this is just because Washington at the moment, 5 straight overs for them. They're scoring right now. They are definitely scoring goals right now. Washington's been in good offensive form. I don't think the battery tandem of in net of Thompson's been a little bit more unsteady. It hasn't been terrible, but he's not been that brick wall, Logan Thompson, as he was early in the season. And we saw it against Ottawa. He was in net, loses that game 4-3 to Ottawa. And then you got Charlie Lindgren, the other goaltender, and he's been giving up some goals lately here for the Washington Capitals. So Washington's been scoring more. They've been giving up a little bit more. Chicago, I'm not saying they're not a great offensive team, and especially without Bedard and Nazar. But what I will say about Chicago is they've started to at least chip in some offense finally, a little bit in these last few games. You look at Chicago here going into this one on this the last 4 games, they've scored 3 or more in 3 of the 4 games. 4 against Dallas twice, 3 against Pittsburgh. 3 of their last 4 games have gone over, and their defense is still a problem in my opinion overall. So this is going to be an over for me at 5, and it's bit number based. If this is 6 and 6.5, I don't get involved. But you give me this 5.5 right now with Washington in particular, 5 straight overs for the Capitals. I think it's definitely, like I said, a little bit light, this number, with where this total is positioned right now. So I will go with Chicago, Washington over 5.5. And I might sprinkle on Chicago goal in the first period because it does fit that criteria. I've taken the big dog to score in the opening 20 minutes here against a minus 300 or greater favorite. But do I trust Chicago to win the game against a Washington team off a loss? No. That's the only Chicago bet I like, is the goal in the first period. And by the way, Igor Shchenikov looks like he just scored his first goal as a member of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And he just got added to their roster. By the way, this has been a horrible for a Detroit team that lost to Pittsburgh in overtime in Pittsburgh on Thursday. This is a horrible start. They've been totally dominated and outplayed in this first period. Detroit down 10-4 in shots here in the early going. So Pittsburgh is full marks right now for this 2-0 start against Detroit. Alex, what do you think here? Blackhawks, Capitals.
Red Wings struggling and cashing the first period over. Things you love to see. This game here, like I said, you can't trust the Hawks to win in this spot. And I hate when the Hawks play in Washington, personally. They just always seem a bit out of sorts. And you can tell that is true in the record as well, 5-1, the last 6 in favor of the Capitals. But I like overs here. I am on first period over pregame. I got that earlier this morning, minus $1.20. 5.5, I'm going to try and wait for. Because I've already bet first period over, I can wait a couple minutes, try and grab 5.5 a little bit closer to pick 'em price or plus money. And I'm going right back to the well because I did not do it the other night with Ilya Mikheyev, and then he scored twice. So I'm going back to the bump with Nick Lardis as my bargain bet. I'm already going to give that away to you now. I'm not missing out on guys that I've had, and then they go cold, and then the next night they score. So Nick Lardis plus 500 will be the one of my bargain bins, along with the over by effective. But play first period over pregame and wait for a better price on 5.5 in game.
Yeah, I like Bertuzzi for Chicago. I'm with you. I'm taking Nick Lardis again, former Hamilton/Brantford Bulldog. He started with Hamilton, then when the franchise moved to Brantford, he went there and finished with the Brantford Bulldogs. But like I said, he's been dangerous every time we've seen him play here with Chicago. And there are 2 I like for Washington. We got to ride the wave with Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson's had this roster inclusion for Team Canada go right to his legs and right to his hands and right to the back of the net for the Washington Capitals. He continues to be great. He's on a multi-game goal-scoring streak. So I like Tom Wilson as far as goal prop. And I'm going back to the well with Protas. Alexei Protas starting to heat up again for the Capitals as well. He's scored in back-to-back games. So a couple of goal props on the Washington side and a couple on the Chicago side for me here in this game. All right, one of the games of the day and night for sure. This was probably something people could envision this, I think, especially earlier in the season as a Stanley Cup final preview. The Colorado Avalanche taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. We've got Colorado minus 140, road favorites, 6.5 the total here in this game. I'm sick of people that talk about something and doing something and there's no action. Okay, you can talk about it. How about you be about it? I always say. And for the Carolina Hurricanes, I'm sick of Jordan Stahl. I'm sick of Rod Brindamore. I'm sick of all these guys after every recent post-game presser lately saying, we got to stop making the mistakes. We've got to stop turning the puck over. We've got to stop, with the defensive screw-ups in the D zone. I'm sick of it. And nothing gets changed. I bought into it. Now, thankfully, I shouldn't be that upset because I took Carolina team totals against Montreal, and they both hit. But I expected them to win the game too, and they didn't. And again, the defense just let them down completely in that game. 7-5 loss to Montreal on the heels of giving up 5 goals to the Pittsburgh Penguins the game before that. Like, Carolina's a mess defensively. When have we said that? The Carolina Hurricanes are a mess defensively right now. And it's alarming to see it. And I've now seen multiple games in a row them talking about we got to fix it, we got to change, and no change. Same mistakes, same problems, still massive numbers of goals going in on Carolina. And even Brandon Bussy's not spared from the issues as he got lit up the last game by the Montreal Canadiens. So there's real problems. And, oh, yeah, now you're facing one of the most lethal teams in the NHL right now, the Colorado Avalanche coming into town. Have fun with defending this group with no Jacob Slavin, no Seth Jarvis. Great point by David, our friend that joins us on Thursdays. Big Canes fan saying Jarvis has just missed just as much defensively, and that's true. He's a good defensive player. So your defense is hurt even more with Seth Jarvis out of the lineup right now for the Carolina Hurricanes. So this to me is Colorado team total over until I see this Carolina team shut the door. I'd prefer Colorado team total as opposed to Colorado money line. Why would I lay minus 140 or so with Colorado when I can take them plus 108 at over 3.5 their team total? Because many games they score 4 when they win. It would not shock me here as far as the team total hitting. And I like this over 6. Actually, I got 6.5 is still okay. This has been an over-palooza series as well. Series history over once again with the Avs and the Canes, where we have seen the over cash now in 5 straight head-to-head meetings, 6-4, 5-2, 6-4, 5-3, 5-4. The final scores in all of those games. Carolina beat them in Colorado 5-4 in a shootout back in October. I think Colorado gets redemption right now. Carolina is a much worse team at the moment in current form compared to then. But I just chose the pathway of team total for a better price as opposed to money line. So Colorado team total over 3.5 plus 106, and also that over 6 in this game as well. 6.5 is at most spots. I still like it at that number. Of course, I think we get minimum 7 goals here with these two teams. Again, 5 straight overs between them head to head. Alex, what do you think here? Colorado, Carolina.
See, Mel in Denver, Ian doesn't hate the Avalanche. We're backing Colorado.
I don't know where she gets that from. She apparently heard something I said a long time ago, and from that moment, she's assumed that basically I hate the Colorado Avalanche. Which is
it may have been from the Av Star series in the playoffs, perhaps. I don't know, but no, we, like I said, this is a great spot for Colorado, and this is a great spot, like I said, back the team total rather than lay 140, rather than take a shot in regulation. Just grab the team total at a reasonable price. And we have talked about Carolina having issues defensively because they've always had goaltending issues. It's the giant carousel in net, and that's part of the problem. But now having blue line issues make things a lot worse for the Canes right now. And like I said, this is an Avalanche team that's humming offensively. So no reason to deviate from it. We'll go team total over with the Avs, and I have my second argument coming from this contest.
Oh, very good. Very good. Wedgwood and Bussy are projected. We don't have confirmations either way at the moment for goaltending here, but Wedgwood and Bussy is the projected goaltending matchup here for this Colorado-Carolina game. Jet Greaves is confirmed now for Columbus, by the way, in that Sabres and Jackets game. Not that we're shocked by that. There's no way they're giving Elvis the start here in this particular game. So there you go. Avs team total and full game over. I'm going to look for a first period over as well, but cheaper. I don't want to take pregame first period over. It's too pricey right now. We'll wait for a little better price in the early part of the first period. Nate McKinnon, 3 games in a row with a goal. Brock Nelson for Colorado, 2 games in a row with a goal. So if you want to ride the streaks, there you go. Nate McKinnon and Brock Nelson are on goal-scoring streaks right now for their respective teams. Lehkonen and Call on Me, Valerie on that line for Colorado, the second line. It's definitely a situation, like I said, where both of those guys, I think, could chip in here for Colorado as well. Eric Robinson, I don't know. For some reason, I'm going to go back to the well with him. He has had a couple games now without a goal, but he's had chances every game. So interesting to see where that if he's able to find the back of the net. He's had chances, Eric Robinson. It's just a matter of does it go in here. All right, Minnesota Wild, Los Angeles Kings. We've got LA minus 120. Home favorites, 5.5, the total in this game. Oh, please, give me Minnesota. Thank you. You're going to keep giving me these favorite prices, these prices with LA laying a price. I don't even care. It's a back-to-back, quite honestly, for the Minnesota Wild. Just ask the Seattle Kraken, the worst team in recent hockey history on the second night of back-to-back games. Did it matter for them? that they were on a back-to-back on a 0 and whatever it was, 17 run? 0 and 17 on the second night of back-to-backs. Did it matter one damn for them to go into LA and beat them? No. So I'm not that concerned about Minnesota being on a back-to-back here after a win last night against the Anaheim Ducks. It's not like Anaheim pushed them all that much. Minnesota was in complete control most of that game, ended up winning it 5-2. We had our over best bet. There's another game where it didn't look good early, but they play 60 minutes. So you never, you just let the game play out. You don't panic. You don't get worried. And, of course, the over still came through for us in that 5-2 Minnesota win last night. Yeah, give me the Wild here, plus 100. It's just, LA as a favorite. I'm at the point now where I continue to do it. I've been doing it, and I will continue to do it. When LA's a favorite, you just go the other way. Alex, what do you think here? Wild Kings.
I'm staying away from this game. Like you said, you can't back LA as a favorite, but I just feel like this could be a tricky spot for the Wild. Coming off of that big win against Anaheim where they always win. You got guys, going to the Olympics. Everybody was kind of really feeling the vibe. It seemed like it may have been a night where they may have, I don't know, had a few drinks, may have just relaxed and kind of take it easy. And now here we go play this bum-ass LA team who can't win at home. And something goofy could happen. So it's a wait and see for me. I'll be watching it live. Of course, it's the local game. So nothing pregame for me.
For props here, I do want to mention Kuzmenko has been starting to pick things up a little bit. He's probably worth a look. Good price for him for LA. And I'm going to go back to the well. He won't be a bargain bin tonight, but I will go back to the well with Danila Yurov. By the way, bargain bin special. I haven't even mentioned that once yet on the show. Danila Yurov, a nice bargain bin cash for the Minnesota Wild. I just remembered, too, now, just as I mentioned cashing that bargain bin with Danila Yurov. We did not go, after we talked Pittsburgh, Detroit, we did not go back around and do the recap of yesterday. So you guys that hate the recap segment, you're in luck. You got your wish again today. No recap segment, but that's okay.
It's a huge Saturday, so.
It's a huge Saturday. I don't even want to talk about the Winter Classic. That was a snore fest, that game.
Good God.
That's not very good from a betting standpoint either, because we had a couple Florida bets, and wow, 5-1 Rangers. Whoa. Yeah, swing and a miss there.
Rangers 6-0 in outdoor games.
Yeah.
To keep in mind.
Yeah, no doubt. But like I said, there's not much to recap. Minnesota, Anaheim struggles continue. Minnesota continues to play well. Another over.
20 of 21 or 20 of 22. Yeah. The record now with Minnesota against Anaheim. So
yeah,
something to keep in mind.
I think it's 20-1. I actually think it's 20-1 now in the last 21 games. Minnesota beating Anaheim. That's crazy. That's an unbelievable, incredible dominance head-to-head over a very long period of time. All right, 2-0 Pittsburgh, by the way, after the first period there in Detroit. Todd McClellan better better be kicking some garbage cans in that first intermission. Anyway, next up we've got Boston and Vancouver. Last game on the card, Boston-Vancouver. Boston minus 130, road favorites, 6 the total here in this game. Boston with an offensive outburst against Edmonton, and they needed it. They couldn't score goals at all of late, and then all of a sudden they end up with the 6-2 win against Edmonton. The offense springs to life. We'll see if they can keep that rolling here against the Vancouver Canucks tonight. Kevin Lankinen already confirmed. That's not a surprise after the shootout loss against the Seattle Kraken last night. Seattle getting the 4-3 shootout win in that game. Demko started in that game, so we will see Kevin Lankinen on the back-to-back. Does Kevin Lankinen play well tonight? He's played a little bit better, the last couple of games for Vancouver, and he did get selected by Team Finland to represent them at the Olympics. Does he, does that go to his skates tonight and his groin area to make big saves tonight against the Vancouver Canucks? That remains to be seen, or against the Boston Bruins rather. But Lankinen in net, he hasn't been nearly as rough as he was earlier in the year. Jeremy Swayman's projected for Boston. We'll see how this one plays out. This is a draw for me. It's the only game this is the only bet I've got pregame on this Bruins and Canucks game. You've got certainly, I think, two teams that are trying to get on some kind of traction here, especially Boston. They finally get the offense going, finally get a win in their last game against Edmonton. Looking to build on that. We've had 2 of the last 4 meetings between the Bruins and the Canucks go past regulation as well. That's worth noting. Vancouver, they've been buzzing around games going past regulation a few times of late. 3 of the last 6 for Vancouver have gone past regulation. So the only thing I've got pregame here is the draw with the Bruins and the Canucks here. Alex, final game, Boston, Vancouver.
Yeah, I have the first period over. I got minus 115 with that overnight, actually. But looking at this draw price, seeing a plus 310, plus 305. Yeah, I may take a small shot with this draw here as well. Like I said, based on that history. So, a little late night draw action. This would be a smaller than usual bet for the draw.
You're reading my script here and my notes here, Rich, but I agree with that. With the one word, DeBrusk. I agree with that. I know it's been a rough season. I know he was a healthy scratch recently for the Vancouver Canucks, but now you're playing your old team that was, ready to part ways with you. Maybe it's this kind of situation that's the kick in the ass that Jake DeBrusk needs right now for the Vancouver Canucks to get going once again. So I like that. I like how the intangibles, and the situationals line up here for Jake DeBrusk tonight. For the Vancouver Canucks. So like I said, I think that tonight's the night it's worth a shot, I think, for him to bet the goal prop for DeBrusk here, find the back of the net. Of course, you got Elias Lindholm for Boston, former Canuck as well. So there's another former player angle, plus 330 if you want to buy into that. But yeah, Jake DeBrusk, I think, it wouldn't shock me if he finds the back of the net. It's funny. He's been cold offensively, and yet the prices still aren't the greatest to back him. It's not even bargain bin price worthy, but still, I'll take it at plus 250. Here tonight with Jake DeBrusk in this situation as far as a goal prop is concerned. And I'm with Alex. If I like the over, I prefer the first period over. I think this could be, goals early. It slows down a little bit after that. That wouldn't shock me. All right, great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. What a big Saturday card. We're looking forward to it. Hopefully a winning result is on tap as far as the NHL slate is concerned. I want to mention to our Patreon members, I've got Alex's card posted already on the Patreon page. He sent it to me nice and early this morning, so I've got that up. My full card will be posted by 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time this afternoon. So again, check out the Patreon page. We'll have everything up there, all the sides, all the totals, all the player props posted on the Patreon page by 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern this afternoon. So make sure you check that out. Patreon.com/IceGuys, $10 per month. Again, you'll get the daily betting card, sides, totals, player props posted each and every day on the Patreon page. Goalie charts, courtesy of Alex. Totals charts, thanks to our friend, of course, Chris Otto, and many more bonus content. And we will announce the Patreon exclusive live betcast dates later this week. And right now, we are going to announce the free-for-all Ice Guys live betcast date.
This is breaking news from the Ice Guys.
All right, our free-for-all betcast date for the month of January, Tuesday, January 20th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And of course, these betcasts, we go pretty much for the entire night. So we are excited about that. So this is the once per month free-for-all, open to everybody, Ice Guys live betcast, Tuesday, January 20th, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. And again, Monday or Tuesday, early this week coming up, we will announce the dates of the multiple. There's going to be 2 of them, Patreon exclusive live betcasts for the month of January. So we are excited about that. Tuesday, January 20, free for all, open to the public, live betcast. Tuesday, January 20th, 7 p.m. Eastern. So again, check out patreon.com/IceGuys, $10 per month. Wizardsportspicks.com too, you know the deal. Busy time of year, get some premium picks, great run in all sports. Wizardsportspicks.com. And again, patreon.com/IceGuys, $10 per month. Your membership goes a long way to supporting the show. Patreon.com/IceGuys.
No. Also, don't forget to check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. You have 4 days left to save 25% on all orders $50 or more. You just hit the redeem button at the top of the homepage, add your items to the cart. 25% will be taken at checkout for all orders $50 or more. That's over at iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, good stuff. All right, bargain bin special of the night and best bets coming up right after we hear from our great Ice Guys sponsors.
Wizard Sports Picks, featuring the finest handicappers in the universe. Sharp insights, trusted picks, and relentless results. We strive to help you become consistent winners. This is Wizard Sports Picks.
Cannabis, where the kings and queens shop.
Thanks to all our sponsors, including Royal Cannabis. Check them out, royalcannabisshop.com. 20% off with promo code IceGuys. All right, bargain bin special of the night. That is ironic. We go from the loud heavy metal there with the Ice Guys store ad to the nice quiet, nice little GoldenEye and the Nintendo 64 background music with the ad there for Royal Cannabis. So that's a nice little dichotomy there when it comes to the music choices. All right, bargain bin special of the night, huge card. Alex, what do you got? Bargain bin special of the night.
I got a pair of them. First, let's go to the nation's capital. You got Washington taking on the Chicago Blackhawks, and I've already mentioned it to you. Nick Lardis, anytime goal plus 500. He was firing. That line, it was him and Teravainen and Moore. They've been buzzing of late, and I think Lardis will be able to pop one tonight. So Nick Lardis, anytime goal plus 500. That's bargain bin special number one. Bargain bin special number two is coming from that Colorado-Carolina game. We've been talking about these Olympians getting this kind of energy bump. I'm going with Cale Makar to get a goal. You can get him as high as plus 400 at FanDuel. See a plus 360 at BetMGM. But Cale Makar, anytime goal for the Colorado Avalanche. That's my second bargain bin special for the Saturday night.
All right, good stuff. Like him. There you go for Alex B. Smith. 2 bargain bin specials for him on this Saturday NHL slate. Bargain bin special of the night for me. Let's see here. I'm going to go with a couple here. I'm going to go with one in the afternoon and one at night. And the afternoon one for me is a very clear choice. Tampa Bay, San Jose, Igor Chernyshov for the San Jose Sharks, looking for his 4th straight game with a goal. And you can get him plus 350 to find the back of the net here for the San Jose Sharks. So Igor Chernyshov, San Jose, plus 350. That's going to be the afternoon bargain bin special of the night for this Saturday NHL slate. For the evening bargain bin special of the night, I am going to go to a guy that scored in back-to-back games for the New York Islanders. Even though I like Toronto in the game, doesn't mean we can't bet an Islander goal scorer prop as a bargain bin. Callum Ritchie for the New York Islanders, plus 430 for him, and he has scored in back-to-back games here for this Islanders team. So there you have it. Callum Ritchie, New York Islanders, plus 430. That's the evening bargain bin. The afternoon one is Igor Chernyshov, San Jose, plus 350. So 2 bargain bin specials of the night for me as well for this Saturday. All right, best bets for this Saturday NHL card. Alex, we'll start with you. What do you like here for best bet?
You got an afternoon game in the Gateway City. You got Montreal taking on St. Louis, and we like that first period over. You can get minus $1.20, minus $1.25. Best prices available. We'll go first period over with the Habs and Blues is my best bet.
There we go. Habs Blues over 1.5 first period for Alex B. Smith with best bet. And my best bet for this Saturday card, let's rock with that Colorado Carolina over 6. There is still a couple 6s, minus 120. I like the Avs team total over as well, but I think Carolina is going to score too on this Colorado team. This will be a little bit of a tougher matchup for the Avs defensively, but I don't trust Carolina's defense right now at all. Both teams chip in. Colorado, Carolina over 6, minus 120 for my best bet. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. Great show as always. Reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll see you tomorrow on Sunday, noon Eastern, for another edition of the Ice Guys.